Hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mind Body Health Podcast, the podcast that I, Dave Sheahan, high performance consultant, created to educate, motivate, and inspire you to regain control of the mind body health area of your life. Because when you've controlled the mind body health area of your life, it has a catalytic impact on every other area of your life. This is why it's so important. Get control of your mind, get control of your body, both in how it is aesthetically and how it functions. Get in control of your health. Focus on longevity. What are the steps you can take to experience longevity, to experience a wonderful, long, independent, fulfilling, happy, successful, fun life? This is what you want. This is what I want. This is what we all want. And this is what the Mind Body Health Podcast is all about, to try and help you by educating, motivating, and inspiring you with the right information, the most scientific, up-to-date, real, and I'll stress the word real, because at a time when there's never been so much information, there has never been so much confusion, and there's never been so much absolute garbage available to people freely. That is not true. That does not work. That is just lies. That is just propaganda. That is just made up stuff. That is not scientific. That is just does not work. So this is what I'm passionate about doing, passionate about helping you by sharing what actually works with you. So the feedback's been great so far for the Mind Body Health Podcast, and I appreciate everyone who's sent me some feedback, who's done reviews, who's done ratings, everyone who's listened. I really appreciate it. Keep sharing it out there. And on today's podcast, what I'm going to tackle is why your exercise routine is ineffective. Why your exercise routine is ineffective. And you might be thinking, it's not it. Why is it ineffective? Well, I'm going to explain. But my first question to you is, do you even exercise? Do you even exercise? And if you do you exercise consistently? Because this is the most important thing. Whatever about what the best exercise strategies are, what the best exercise programs are, what you should do, what the best cardio is cardio better than weight training? What's the best weight training exercise? How do you build muscle? How do you lose fat? How do you become a better athlete? How do you improve athletic performance? How do you get faster? All of these things are totally insignificant if you're not exercising. And two, if you're not exercising consistently. They're the basics. So firstly, are you exercising? And if you're not exercising, why not? Why are you not prioritizing it? Because let's address that first. For so many people, for far too many people, they'll say, oh, I don't have time to exercise. Well, the reality is I've 24 hours in my day. You've 24 hours in your day. And the 7.5 billion people on the planet have 24 hours in their day. What you do with those 24 hours is showing what you're prioritizing. So when you say you don't have time to exercise, what you really mean is, I'm prioritizing something else instead of exercising, because you have enough time to exercise in every day. I have enough time to exercise in every day. And the days we choose not to, we don't do it, is because we're prioritizing something else. Maybe it's family stuff, maybe it's work stuff, maybe it's watching some soap opera or reality TV, maybe it's scrolling on our phone. What's wrong with exercising while you're watching something on TV or listening to a podcast or watching a video or anything like this? Walking your dogs, listening to something as you walk along, run, while you're in the gym. You don't even have to go to the gym. So many people think you have to be in the gym. You don't have to be in the gym. Your body is the most amazing piece of exercise equipment you will ever have. It's with you all the time. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to spend any money to use it. You can use it anytime you want. So the excuses of time, wipe it out, because you have the time. It's just you're not prioritizing it. And the same if you're not consistent. You're not consistently prioritizing it. Because you telling me that for 3 times a week, everyone should be exercising 3 times a week, okay? Minimum. That's for basic health, fitness, heart function, all these benefits that exercise gives you. So 3 is the basic, and you can get some kind of results depending on what goals you're looking for from 3 days a week. If you want more results, 4, 5, 6, never 7. Be active 7 days a week, but never exercise, properly 7 days a week. Take 1 day as a rest day, 6 days maximum, exercise intensively and specifically and properly. But if you can't do 30 minutes, 3 times a week, you need to seriously look at what you're prioritizing, because you sure as hell aren't prioritizing your exercise. You sure as hell aren't prioritizing your health, your well-being, the mental health aspects of it. There's so many benefits to exercise. It's massive. You're not prioritizing those things. So when you experience poor health, when you experience poor fitness, when you've experienced poor mood, when you experience, less ability to do functional things, look in the mirror. You're the reason that you can't do it and that you're disimproving, because you're not prioritizing exercise like you should be prioritizing. Okay. So it's as simple as that. So that's the time aspect. In terms of not having money to go to gyms, not having, not be able to afford things, again, your body is a piece of equipment, so you can use it anywhere. Then it's a case of knowing what to do. But the big problem for, let's assume you are exercising or you're contemplating it or you've been exercising for a long time. Next question is, are you getting the results you want? Some people want to lose fat. Some people want to have a six-pack. Some people just want to be a bit leaner. Some people just want to go from a size 18 to a size 16. Some people want to become better athletes. Some people want to become professional athletes. Some people want to be able to jump higher, run faster, take hits harder if it's something like rugby or American or Aussie rules, or in things like boxing or UFC. People have different types of goals that they're looking for. And the thing is, your type of training you do and your overall training program will determine if that happens or not. So what I want to do on this particular podcast is clarify for you exactly what works and what doesn't work. And what I always do in everything I share with people is I explain the why. So if I tell you you should do something or you shouldn't do something, I'll always explain the why. Because when you understand why you should or you shouldn't, you're more likely to do the right things and you're less likely to do the wrong things. Okay. So the first step, as I said, is to exercise. You need to just exercise. That's step one. Two is you need to exercise consistently, minimum 3 times per week, ideally 4, 5, or 6, even 3 times by 30 minutes. That's a good base. Build that up. If you're at a starting point right now where you're not exercising consistently, that's your starting point. That's as much as you need to worry about, not specifics of exercise. When you get to a stage where you're consistently exercising 30 minutes, 3 times per week, then you can worry about doing it for longer each session or doing more days. I'd recommend more days, because more volume the better, and the more days, because it's creating a lifestyle. I'm very big, as you may know from following me, that on lifestyle. Create long-term lifestyle, because long-term lifestyle is what really matters. I'm not about getting short-term results. Of course, we want them fast. Everyone wants fast results. I want fast results. You want fast results. But what's more important is that you keep it. So if you start an exercise routine, what's important is you become consistent, and then it becomes a lifestyle. And like I say with everything, it should become like brushing your teeth. You don't ever even have to consciously decide you're going to exercise. It's part of your day. It's part of your routine. It's just something you do. You don't think about brushing your teeth. Exercise should be the exact same. It's just part of your life and part of your day, at least 3 days minimum a week, but that's like a starting point. In general, you should be keeping active, always walking, moving whenever you can. We're designed for that. Modern lifestyle has meant that we sit so much more, and the way we sit even isn't very good for our posture. So a lot of biomechanical issues as a result of that, and a lot of pains and aches people have is because of the type of way we live and the way we sit so much and the way we sit. Life has changed so much compared to a few decades ago, and this is another reason why we need to counteract it with exercise. Also, mental health. Mental health is always being impacted by the type of world we live in, the type of people who live in the world, the type of mind feed we get from people and information and TV and news and all that stuff. For your mental health, it's important to do exercise, because there's something that's totally guaranteed. When you exercise, you will feel better. So it's so important for you to exercise, just for the feel-good factor, to release endorphins, the stress relief, for your mental health. If you're encountering different challenges and obstacles in your life or going through a tough, dark time, you need to do exercise. I've worked with so many people over the last 25 years dealing with various levels of depression and suicidal thoughts and suicidal attempts and different types of, conditions, even body conditions like anorexia and all these kind of things. And exercise has been a savior for all of them, because it's such an important release of positive energy, positive endorphins. So exercise is such a powerful tool. It should be our go-to when we don't feel good, especially when we need a kickstart, when we need to elevate our mood, when we need to rise ourselves out of a very dark place of depression. So obviously it's not the only thing that will help. There's other ingredients to the kind of cocktail to help someone to get out of such a dark place, but exercise does need to be a key part of it. So these are just key things I want to start with on this podcast, to emphasize to you why you need to exercise. You need to prioritize it. Exercising isn't just about getting ready for a wedding, whether it's your own or someone else's. It's not just for getting ready for the beach, for a holiday. It's not just for when you feel so disgusted when you see yourself in the mirror and photos or look at your body that you decide enough's enough. It shouldn't get to that point. We let it get to that point. These are the reasons we start exercising, when it should be a case of we should do it anyway. Like I said, exercise should be like brushing your teeth. It's just a normal part of your life. So why am I telling you that your exercise routine is ineffective? Now, obviously, it's not for everyone. What I'm going to share, some of you may be doing, and if you are, fantastic. But I know for the majority of people in the world, you're not doing these things, and it's making your exercise ineffective. Now, if your goal with exercise is purely just for your health, just to be healthy, to be active, that type of thing, It doesn't really matter too much what you do. It's more about you doing it and being consistent. Okay. So if you're doing that and that's your goal, just to be healthy, just to be active, just to move your body, that's cool. It doesn't really matter what you do. Walk, run, weight training, sports, climb mountains, hiking. It doesn't matter. The only thing I'd say is definitely do some resistance training anyway, no matter what your goal is, what you're trying to train for. But I'll come on to that a little later. Now, for the majority of people, there's a goal you have. For the majority of people, they want to lose fat. They don't like how their body shape is. So aesthetic reasons, they want to change their body shape. Okay. So there's certain type of way to train to make that happen. Other people want to get more toned. Other people want to build, mass muscle, like bodybuilding type thing. Other people want to improve their athletic performance. Other people want to get fitter because, they feel so unfit. Maybe need to get fit for something like the army or the police or something, or just for themselves because they may have had a health condition, might have just had a heart attack, so want to get fitter to counteract the situation that they're in where they've got poor health and poor fitness. There's so many different angles that people want. Endurance events, like the way I do triathlon and moving to Ironman. Exercise is crucial. I ain't going to achieve my goals for Ironman unless I do a lot of training, a lot of specific training. Okay. So whatever your goal is, you need to train. You need to train specifically. We won't go into today, but of course, things like your mindset, the psychology around training, your nutrition, and your sleep are massive. They're all key ingredients. But today on today's podcast, I want to specifically focus on the exercise side, okay? And teach you what works and what doesn't work. So there's 3 key things that work with exercise. And this applies to every kind of training you're doing, okay? Now, tell me this, if you're trying to lose fat, which the majority of people are always looking to lose weight. Now, the first thing is I hate the phrase lose weight because you're not actually trying to lose weight. You're trying to lose fat. And this is why a lot of people stay trapped. A lot of people are trying to lose weight, inverted commas. That's what they're trying to do. And once you have that in your head and once you're using the weighing scales, you're never going to get there. I can guarantee you're never going to get there. You're never going to be satisfied. You're always going to be fighting that battle and the psychological warfare, because what you're told and what you believe you should be from a weight perspective, you will never hit it, because our bodies have changed a lot. Our weight has changed a lot. Plus, weight is affected by so many different factors that you're never going to get to the point where you're the weight that you're supposedly meant to be. This is why I focus with people on their body shape. How do you want to look? How much fat do you want to have in your body? What kind of tone do you want to have? Visually in your mind, you can see what you want to look like. Or you might see someone in a magazine and go, yeah, that's what I'd like to look like. That's what matters, guys. That's what you want to look like. Focus on that. Now, I'm very big as well. I'm pushing that it's not all about aesthetics. It needs to be more than that, like the mental health, like the health benefits, like longevity, all of this. But at the end of the day, it's a very image conscious world and we all want to look good. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Being vain, liking how you look, there's nothing wrong with it, because it does positively impact our confidence or self-esteem or self-image. And when you have a good positive self-esteem, self-image, and have confidence, you achieve much more in life. So it is a very important thing. So while there's a lot of bad elements of being such an image conscious world, it does create so many problems for people. It's also an important thing too, that we do take pride in ourselves and take pride in how we look, and we do the things that we need to make ourselves look the way we want to look. Now that's an important thing. Forget how other people think you should look or what society says. This is the ideal body for a female. This is the ideal body for a man. Forget that crap. What do you want to look like? Some guys and girls want to have a six-pack. Others are happy to be nowhere near that. They just want to be lean and have huge amount of fat in their body, and they're happy out with that. What is it you want out of your body? That's what matters in terms of aesthetically how it looks, and also in terms of athletic performance, if that's the area you're more focused on, like the way I would be. Of course, I want to look good, but athletic performance is far more important to me. And for 25 years, I kept my body in pretty good look aesthetically, because it's been important to me. And once the good thing is, once you achieve it, once you achieve the aesthetic look, it's easy to keep it. You may vary a little bit, improve, disimprove, and whatever, but it's easy to keep once you just keep consistent. That's why I started off this podcast with speaking about consistency, because when you're consistently exercising and don't take any massive breaks from it, and your food stays reasonably okay most of the time, you won't really go backwards, not to any large extent. So the challenge is getting to the point aesthetically that you want to look like. Now, 3 key ingredients, okay? These apply to all types of training. So if you want to lose fat, if you want to build muscle, if you want to get more toned, if you want to improve athletic performance, if you want to get fitter, if you want to improve your heart function, improve your lung function, if you want to improve anything to do with health, fitness, muscle, any of this, 3 key ingredients: intensity, progression, muscle confusion. These are the 3 key ingredients. It doesn't matter what you're training for. It doesn't matter whether it's Ironman or you want to get to 4% body fat. Those 3 ingredients are crucial. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to focus on intensity. Now, if you're doing slow, steady state exercise, like most people, so let's take from a cardio perspective, most people, they might go out for a fast walk. They might even go for a long jog, might do even 10K. Okay. 20K, 30K. Fantastic. It's great when people can do that. However, you could do 100K a day. That isn't going to make your body lose fat. Okay. It's not going to make it lose fat, not to any large extent. Now, if you're very big and you're obese and you have a huge amount of fat to lose, any form of exercise to start with, especially when you're not exercising, is going to cause a shift. It's going to cause a little change. But when you get to the stage where you're consistent, if you're not doing the right exercise, I can guarantee you, you will not change. Of course, your food is a big part to play in this, okay? But I'm going to speak specifically from the exercise perspective and the stimulation, because exercise is stimulation. That's where you're doing exercise for, to stimulate your body, to lose fat, to grow muscle, to increase your metabolism, all these kind of things, okay? And then the food and the sleep take over, take the baton basically, and determine what the result is after it. But if you don't do the right stimulation, the results can't happen. Now, people can lose a lot of fat through just food and do no exercise. That's a different scenario, and that's not a long-term strategy that will work. Okay, so I'm speaking specifically on getting the best bang for your buck from your exercise. Okay, so because I know some people will hear some of what I'm saying, think, no, that's not right, I don't agree with that, that's not true. Listen to what I'm saying and listen to the explanation and the why. And of course, I always welcome your feedback, your questions, your comments, your opinions. So send them to me, okay? So intensity is key. So you need to work out intensively. Now, intensity varies depending on the person. If you're not used to exercising and you start exercising, even if it is going for a walk, a light jog, doing a few light weights, anything at all, that's more intense than what you've been doing because you've been doing nothing. There's always that first couple of weeks, like introductory phase of getting your body used to exercising. But after you've done that, you need to exercise intensively to cause a stimulation, because otherwise you're just exercising. So if you're just going through the motions, as I said, even if you're going for a 20K run, but it's easy, it's not really, there's no stressful point within it for you, the body has no reason to improve. Now, that doesn't matter whether you're an endurance athlete training for Ironman, or whether you're someone who's just trying to lose a bit of fat, or if you're in the gym trying to build a bit of muscle, or at home with some home weights or home gym equipment, or using your body weight. Intensity is key. You have to stimulate. So if you're not stimulating your body from intense exercise, and when I say intense, I mean that you're going near enough to your max. Now, I'll address endurance athletes a little later to specify a few things in this, because you might be thinking, no, that doesn't make sense, or that's not true. I'll clarify a little later what I mean, okay? Or how it applies to you. But what's important is intensity. So work as hard as you can in short bursts. Now, if you're looking mainly to increase your fitness and to lose fat, even to build muscle to a degree, intense, short, high intensity interval training like cardio HIIT is the most effective and the only effective way to lose fat and get fitter faster, okay? And it can be as little as 15, 20-minute workouts. It does not have to be long workouts. So it's about having a short phase of intensity, anything from 20 seconds to maximum minute, because for most people, there's no way they're going to go full on for a minute even. Better off shorter, but a minute is probably the maximum you will go intense for. When I say intense, I mean, full on. So it's going for a burst. So whether it be you're on a treadmill going by time, or outside you're going by lampposts or pillars or trees, or just how you feel, go as fast as you possibly can on a sprint, for instance, and then walk when you can't go any further. Because if you're genuinely going as fast as you can, you're not going to last very long. It's like 100-meter sprinters are going as fast as they possibly can. They do about 10 seconds. If they kept going, they might do about 15 seconds if they went till they had to stop, for instance. So intensity is absolutely crucial, okay? So make sure you work intensively. Progression, always aim to do more, okay? Always. Once you do something, once your body can do more. Now, just go back to intensity, actually. That applies to weight training as well. If you're just going through the motions, so you're doing your weight training, you're getting your reps in, you're doing your sets, you're increasing the weight even sometimes, that's fine. But if you're not hitting your max every time, after that first few weeks introductory phase, getting your body used to exercise, if you're not hitting your max, nothing's going to happen. You're stimulating your muscle for muscle growth or muscle tone or muscle development in terms of power and speed if you're an endurance athlete. If you're not hitting the mark, nothing's going to happen. It can't. It has no reason to. Like I said, training is about stimulating your body. So if you're doing weights, let's just pick the bench press, for example. If on the last rep you're not struggling completely to barely complete it, or you fail in a good sense in that you try to do it, you can't do it, that is actually the point you're looking for. If that happens, perfect. Once you've done the exercise with the right technique, the right range of movement, the right pace, because some people exercise way too fast and they're missing the boat. Again, that's another podcast episode. So exercise intensity, no matter what you're doing, whether it be cardio related or whether it be resistance training related. You have to stimulate the body. And if you're not stimulating the body, nothing can happen. Okay. So remember, exercise is stimulation. Next step then is progression. You have to progress. So if, for instance, you did an interval session and you did, let's just pick, for example, you did 6 miles per hour for 20 seconds, and then you walked at 3 miles per hour for 2 minutes. Well, the next day, aim for 6.1 miles per hour for your fast intense part, or 6.2 or something better. And if you did 10 intervals and you even only do 1 or 2 at 6.1 and then you go back to 6 again, on paper that's still better than what you did the day before. So it's progression. Same as your weight training. Always aim for more reps or more weight or a bit of both. Now different circumstances will affect that. Sometimes you might be too tired, you might have had a bad night's sleep, you might have stuff in your mind, you might be lethargic, you might be a bit ill, you might be stressed, you mightn't have eaten the same way, you mightn't have drank enough water. Different factors will affect sometimes your performance, and you may do your best, like give 100% effort and intensity and still not progress. That may happen sometimes, but again, all things being equal, that you do the right things each time, you have those kind of routines, you will always physically be able to do more, because once you do something once, your body adapts. Again, once the food and the sleep is okay, the body adapts to the new stimulus. It becomes fitter, stronger, lose fat, more muscle, all that kind of stuff. So it adapts, and then it's ready to do more. And it's unlimited. Your body can always do more. This is why it's like world records will always constantly be broken. This is why every person has unlimited potential on a physical basis. This is why every athlete can continue to get better month to month, year on year, because we have unlimited potential. The difference gets smaller and smaller the better, more elite level you get to, and the better, more elite level your body shape gets to, or your strength, or your bodybuilding elements, or whatever. But you can still always get better. This is why you can always progress. Okay. And always aim to progress, unless you're in a phase where you're going, I'm just maintaining. My goal is to maintain, or my goal is just for health, and that's it. Is that making sense? I hope it is. This way, make sure you give me your feedback so I can answer any questions or clarify anything that needs clarification, or I can do it on future podcasts as well. So intensity, number one, progression, number two. And this applies to every type of goal: fat loss, muscle building, toning, athletic performance, become faster, jump higher, run faster, become a better athlete in a team sport, an individual sport, endurance athletes. It's the same for everyone, okay? And muscle confusion. Muscle confusion is a big one. Muscle confusion means you're constantly changing things up regularly. Now, a lot of people believe that you should stay on the same program for 3 months, 6 months, even a year. I say no. Different reasons. And there's a lot of debate about this online, but I've looked and researched this so much, and I've used my own body as a research tool and a guinea pig, and so many clients. And without a doubt, when you implement muscle confusion, no matter what the goal is, you will achieve far greater and far faster results. What muscle confusion means is that you constantly change up your program. Okay. Now, with clients, I typically change up a program every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the frequency that they're completing that program within that period. So if someone's doing maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, maybe it might be every 3 weeks I change a program. If they're exercising 3 to 6 days a week, I change it every 2 weeks. With some clients, I'll change it every single day. Why is that? Well, the speed you need your result at. So if you need your result, let's say someone's getting ready for a wedding and they want a crazy result in 4 weeks, for instance, I'll change every single day. If someone just wants fast progression or getting ready for races and things like that, again, every single day. If someone's got poor attention span and needs constant change and stimulation, I'll change the program every single day. And some might say, oh, but you need to get used to it. No. The key thing is you should always train properly, you should always train safely, you should always train with proper technique, you should always train with proper range of motion when it comes to weight training, you should always train with the right weight for that exercise and that ability you have. So those things should be constant anyway. But when you change the routine so regularly, you're giving your body constant stimulation. It has something constantly like guesswork and work with and change with and stimulated by and work with. Okay. It's important because mentally we need constant stimulation anyway, especially some people more than others. So it stimulates your mind, stops you getting bored, but also stops your body getting bored. The more constant change and stimulation for your body, the better. Okay, because it will change and it'll adapt so much faster if you keep changing things up. When you do the same thing repetitively, day after day, week after week, month after month, you get bored in your brain. So even though you're feeling like you're giving it everything, you're working intensely, you're even trying to progress, you even are progression, you're still not working to the level you could be because you're mentally not stimulated, you're bored, and your body is bored. And it's like a graph. When, like, you can't, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see this, but if you're watching the video, you can. So let's say you start a new program. First 2 weeks, the graph will be like that, quite steep progression wise, but then it starts to get less steep. And you still get progress if you keep going with a program for even up to 3 months, right? But the thing is, once you hit about the 2 week mark, the progression's getting less. Now, why not change to a new program so you're constantly on a steep curve? Hear what I say? So again, you constantly progress even over the course of a few months. Once you're applying intensity and progression, you will constantly get progress. But after the first 2 weeks, the progress will get less relative all the way. So why not after 2 weeks change the program so you get maximum stimulation all the time? It makes sense, right? Now, of course, there's little adaptations depending on the person's body. Some people have very little coordination, might struggle to grasp how to do an exercise with proper technique and all that kind of stuff. You adjust accordingly, of course. But as well, many people need stimulation for, again, mentally to not get bored and physically to not get bored. So I have researched this. I've tried this. I've used clients myself, everything for 25 years now. Without a doubt, it works. Okay. And I welcome anyone wanting to counteract that with their own arguments as to why it doesn't. But the typical thing is about people getting used to exercise. They should be getting used to it if you're training them right, if you're learning it right, if you're given the right tools, or you as an individual, if you're learning how to do things correctly, using the right information, resources, and following the right people, like following someone like me who will teach you how to do things correctly. Does that make sense? The 3 key ingredients for any form of result is intensity. So working right to your max, like balls to the wall type idea. Go right to the limit. The more you go to the limit, the more you stimulate your body. It's like with weight training. Your goal is to rip the shit out of your muscle fibers. The more you rip them, the more damage you do to your muscles, the more results you can get from it once food and once sleep and hydration are correct. Okay. They're the key things after exercise, because remember, exercise is about stimulation. So you're trying to rip the shit out of your body as much as is humanly possible. Okay. So the more damage you do, the better. So the worse the workout feels, the better it actually is. This is why it's important to fail. We see failure as a bad thing with training when it's not. If you can't do anymore, if you physically can't do anymore, that's a good sign. That shows you've gone right to your limit. That will stimulate your body, and then the food and the hydration and the sleep will take over. If they're right, you'll get the results and the progress. If they're not right, you won't, and it'll be minimal. Okay. So remember, there's lots of ingredients here. Exercise is stimulation. So in terms of making your exercise effective, go full on intensity. Make sure you aim to progress every workout. You may not progress every workout, but aim to progress every workout. Think about and writing down what you did in your workout, whatever it is, cardio, resistance, or whatever it might be, whatever your goal is, write it down. You should be journaling your training. It makes a huge difference. And then use that information to plan the next day and the next day. Aim to make it better. Hopefully it is. If it's not, it's not. Once you give it the right intensity, the following day, work off that, the plan, and keep going and keep going. The third thing then, muscle confusion. Always aiming to keep shocking your body at least every 2 weeks, doing something new, and even every day, depending on what way your mind works. If you need constant stimulation, it's like with our MSS program that we run online, live workouts online. We change it every single day. Every single day we change the workouts, because we want to keep people stimulated and keep their brain engaged and keep their muscles confused. Okay. So I hope that's making sense. Now I want to address something with the endurance, because if you're looking to change aesthetically, so lose fat, get lean, body beautiful type stuff, if you're looking to bodybuild, if you're looking to get more toned, not necessarily big, but more toned, all of what I said applies 100%. Okay. 100% everything. When it comes to endurance athletes, guys, if you're an endurance athlete, it's a little bit different. All I've said is true. Okay. But of course, you need to do your steady state stuff as well. So I'm an endurance athlete. I'm training for Ironman. I need to do steady state too. I can't be doing all just cardio hit. I can't be doing just all super intense resistance training. That's part of my program. It's not my program. It's an important part, and it's a decent size part of it, but I still need to increase volume. I still need to increase distance. I still need to be doing a lot of steady state stuff. So I need to be doing 30, 40, 50, 100K cycles, 180K cycles eventually. I still need to do up towards a marathon in terms of running. I need to be doing towards 3.8 kilometers in terms of swimming. And then my resistance training, my yoga, stretching type workouts, my cardio hit type stuff important then as well. Remember, the cardio hit increases the fitness. However, the big mistake I see with endurance training, this is where, if you're an endurance athlete, this is where your exercise is not effective. So many endurance athletes focus so much on the distance they've done. So at the end of the week, it'd be, I did a couple of 100K cycles this week, or I did 100K runs. Yeah, that's cool. Sounds amazing. It's very, very impressive. But the key question, did you improve? Did you go faster for a particular route than you did before? Did you go longer than you normally have gone before? Have you done anything that's better than you did last week or the week before? That's all that matters. There's so many endurance athletes out there who, right this moment, their fitness ability, their strength ability, their endurance ability is the exact same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 30 or 40 years ago. Now, training should be about progress and improvement. Now, again, for some people, they just participate and just for their health, that's cool. I'm addressing if you want to improve. And at a cellular level, we're growing or we're dying, okay? So it is important to push yourself to improve anyway and give yourself new stimulation and give yourself new challenges. But again, if your goal is just health and just a social aspect and just a bit of fun and keep active, that's fine. Doesn't matter what you do really. But for the majority of people, you want or you should be pushing yourself and giving yourself new challenges. So with endurance athletes, it's like if I was doing a 40K cycle. If I do the exact same 40K cycle again, I should be implementing intensity to try and improve and give it as much as I could, like I should with every workout. Like in endurance, you're kind of applying intensity at different phases. You're not going 100% effort all the way because you wouldn't last 10 minutes. But in different phases of it, like I sprint up hills and I sprint down hills. I take advantage of those. In the middle part where it's more flat, I'll go a bit easier. It's like my recovery, which is typically the opposite to what a lot of people do. But attack hills and attack down hills is what I do. So they're like intense phases. Sometimes on a steady phase in terms of flat route, I'll go hard. So I'll do different phases within a workout that'll be intense. Now that doesn't matter if it's cycling, swimming, or running. All right. Progression. If I had a 40K route and I did it in, let's just pick an hour and 15 minutes, the next day I'll be able to do it in an hour and 14 minutes, 51. Something that's better. My goal is always to progress. Okay. So this is why within a workout, whatever distance you're aiming for, you should know where you are at different phases in it and aim to be better. So by the time you come to the end of it, it isn't a case of, oh Christ, I need to really step it up at the very end to do better. You should have done better. So you're pushing your body because your body, once it does something once, it can do it. You can always do more. Then it's about planning and strategizing how you're going to make that distance better in terms of you can do it faster. Or it might be a case of max you've done is 40K, you're going to do a 50K cycle today. That's progression. Okay. So progression again applies to endurance athletes as much as it does to aesthetic or bodybuilding or fitness athletes as well. Okay. Same applies to, again, sports teams, basketball, soccer, football, Gaelic sports, rugby. Again, apply the same principles. The principles apply no matter what you want to do with your body. Intensity, progression, muscle confusion. Muscle confusion for endurance athletes. Of course, you need to swim a lot, so you need to cycle a lot, you need to run a lot, but you don't have to do the exact same kinds. You can keep changing it up. Change the routes, change the distance, change the challenges. Sometimes it can be hills, sometimes it can be flats. You know, you can change sometimes in treadmill, sometimes outside. Loads of different things. So you can constantly change it up. You need to keep shocking your body. Muscle confusion applies to endurance athletes as much as it applies to somebody who just wants to lose a bit of fat, or again, like most people think, lose a bit of weight, inverted commas. Okay. So again, it's all about intensity, muscle, or let me say it again. It's all about intensity, progression, muscle confusion. Those are the three keys to effective training. If you're not implementing those three keys, I can guarantee you your results will be minimal to zero. Minimal to zero. Now, do you want to put all that effort in and get so little out of it? Because at the end of the day, most people are not exercising for fun. For most people, exercise isn't even fun. This is why I stress you need to change your outlook around it. If you're getting results from it, it's going to give you more incentive. Like a big reason why most people aren't consistent is that when they are exercising, they're not seeing the results they want or expect. Of course, people have unrealistic expectations, but let's just pick if it was realistic. Most people are not getting what they want, so they end up falling off the wagon. But just a few little tweaks, like I've shared in this particular podcast, will actually see you get results. I can guarantee you, even in a week, you're going to see a huge difference in your results by implementing intensity, progression, muscle confusion. Okay. So as I said, the Mind Body Health podcast, this episode is about why your exercise routine is ineffective. I hope you can understand now why you've been growing, increasingly frustrated by your lack of results, by your lack of progress, whether it be losing fat, building muscle, getting more toned, getting fitter, getting faster, jumping higher, physically getting stronger, getting better at your endurance events. I hope we can understand from what I've shared with you why that has been happening. A few little tweaks and it will transform. Of course, like I said, exercise is the stimulation, the nutrition, the hydration, and the sleep play a huge role after, but the first step is stimulate the body first. And remember, you've total unlimited potential. You can get fitter, you can get faster, you can get stronger, you can get leaner. All these things can happen. We have unlimited potential. but it's up to you whether you realize your potential or not. So be the best you that you can be. Again, the Mind Body Health podcast and all that I do as a high performance consultant is based around helping people become the best them that they can be. So I want to help you become the best you that you can be. I want to help you to regain control of mind, body, and health. I want you to feel the catalytic impact on all areas of your life. There's nothing better, more empowering, more energizing than having control of your life, and it leads to a fun, vibrant, fulfilling, successful, and most importantly, happy life that you desire. We all desire, but we have to take personal responsibility. Remember, everything is a choice, and also no excuses. These are so key, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular episode of the Mind Body Health podcast. I hope I've clarified a few things for you. I hope I've given you some food for thought. I hope I've given you some tips that you can implement and see immediate results. I know you will if you implement them. And do let me know. Your feedback will be important. And, make sure you share this information out there with everyone. Share this podcast. Leave a rating and review if you watch this on Apple Podcasts. Share with other people. Tell people about it. Catch up on previous episodes. Keep sending me questions you want me to address on future podcasts. Keep letting me know topics you want me to speak about on future podcasts, and also keep letting me know guests you'd like to see me have on future podcasts, as I will soon start to do some interview situations, as well as ones where I'm just speaking about particular topics as well. So that's it, wrap today for the Mind Body Health podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome day. Remember, it's up to you to take control, take personal responsibility.